Hey friends, so we have made it to our last lesson of the week. And today we're going to be writing linear equations whenever we're given 2 points. So we started the week off very basic, slope-intercept form whenever I was given the slope and the y-intercept. Then we went to a graph where we needed the slope and the y-intercept, but both of those were very evident. You were able to see them. And then we moved into where it goes through a point and a slope, and we use point-slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So today we're adding one more trick to our little tool belt. And today we're going to be finding a linear equation whenever we're given 2 points. So in all the forms that we've needed the slope and at least 1 point. So that's going to be our new trick today, is finding the slope whenever we're given 2 points. Hopefully you've already taken our notes for today and you've seen the slope formula. I've got it written up here on the board behind me. The slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We're still finding the rise from your y-axis and your run from your x-axis. So we're not changing anything up. We're not really throwing anything crazy new at you. We're just telling you kind of where that comes from, okay? So on today's assignment, hopefully you've already written down the steps. You kind of know what we're looking at there, and we're just going to dive right into our examples. So in example 1, you're given the 2 points, 0, 3, and 1, 5. Step 1 is to label your x1, y1, x2, y2. I typically do it as points. So this first one, I'm going to say that's point 1. This is going to be x1, y1, because it's always x comma y, and then this one will be x2, y2. My next step is going to be to plug that into my slope formula. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Guys, this is so important that you be careful and be consistent right here. It's very easy to switch numbers to get them backwards or to put your x's on top and your y's on bottom. Pay attention to what we're doing, okay? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, now it's just simple arithmetic. So 5 minus 3 is 2. 1 minus 0 is 1. This fraction can simplify into 2. So now I've got my slope. We learned yesterday how to write a linear equation whenever we were given slope and 1 point. Since we're given 2, you can just pick your favorite. Pick whichever one you want to. And a lot of times it helps students, since this one's already labeled x1, y1, go ahead and use that one, okay? So whenever we do that, we say y minus y1 equals the slope that we just found times x minus x1. So once again, I want to show you where all these numbers came from. This 3 came from y1. This 2 came from the slope that we just found. This 0 came from my x1. So now we're back to yesterday's lesson. We've got our point slope form filled out, and so now we're just using the distributive property. 2 times x, 2 times 0. Y minus 3 equals 2x minus 0. Then we're going to add 3 to both sides to isolate our y, and we get y equals 2x plus 3. Okay, one more step from yesterday's lesson. We're just adding that extra step of finding our slope. So let's try again. If I'm given the point 2, negative 2, and the point 0, negative 5. My first step is going to be to find my slope. The way I do that is my slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, that means I need to label my points. So first point is x1, y1. Second point, x2, y2. So now I can replace them. Just for space, I'm going to erase that and just go ahead and put my numbers here. So y2 is negative 5 minus y1, which is negative 2, over x2, which is 0, minus x1. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I see this double negative up here. Let's go ahead and fix that. That turns into a great big positive. Negative 5 plus 2 gives me a negative 3. 0 minus 2 gives me a negative 2. Can that fraction simplify? Not necessarily in numbers, but I do see a negative over a negative, which gives me a positive 3 over 2. I know my slope, I know a point, so I can plug it into point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m, which is the slope that I just found, times x minus x1. At this time, I can go ahead and fix my double negative right here, make that a great big positive. And in that same line, I'm going to go ahead and do my distributive property with my slope. So I get y plus 2 equals 3 over 2x. 3 over 2 times a negative 2 gives me a negative 3. Last step, isolate your y by using opposite operations. Subtract 2 from both sides, and we get y equals 3 over 2x minus 5. Okay, let's do one more together and then I'll turn you loose. All right, last example. We have 2, 3, and 4, negative 5. First step is going to be to find my slope. M equals, I need to label my points, x1, y1, x2, y2. So whenever I'm plugging in, I'm going to say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Negative 5 minus 3 gives me a negative 8. 4 minus 2 gives me a 2. This fraction will simplify. Negative 8 divided by 2 gives me a negative 4. There's my slope. Slope, pick your favorite point. It doesn't matter which one. Y. I'm going to pick this one because it's already positives. That way I don't have to worry about any double negatives. So y minus 3 equals the slope times x minus 2. Next step is your distributive property with your slope. Y minus 3 equals negative 4x plus 8. Add 3 to both sides, and we get y equals negative 4x plus 11. That's how we find a linear equation whenever we're given 2 points. If you have any questions, feel free to text, call, or email. Good luck, guys.